Hello, all. Welcome to the Art of Mindful Living. Hi, Teju.
Hi, and welcome to the Art of Mindful Living.
So, we are discussing two couplets today, couplet 22 and couplet 23 of chapter 3. First, let us discuss the couplet 22. Here it goes.
துறந்தார் பெருமை துணைகூறின் வையத்து இறந்தாரை எண்ணிக் கொண்டற்று. To enumerate the greatness of the renunciates who have forsaken their twofold desires would be as tough as counting the late.
To enumerate the greatness of the renunciates who have forsaken their twofold desires will be as tough as counting the late.
Okay, this is the meaning of the couplet, Teju. What do you understand from this meaning?
We learnt in the previous couplet that the greatness of the ascetics is the greatest of all because they give up all their worldly pleasures and desires for the realization of the ultimate truth
Yeah.
and to guide the mankind to the righteous path. So counting and or measuring their greatness will be as hard as counting the people who have born and died on this universe.
Yeah, Teju. So, do you think counting the number of people who have born and died in this world is a possible task?
No.
No, right? So Thiruvalluvar is trying to make us all understand that this is an impossible task. Like counting the number of people who have born and died in this world is a task that is beyond doable. It is not a
Yeah.
doable task.
Yeah.
So, trying to enumerate or trying to describe the greatness of the ascetics who have renounced all the pleasures and comforts, everything in this world for the realization of ultimate truth and guide the mankind through the righteous path is beyond doable. We cannot describe the greatness of these people. They are like a very enlightened supreme souls. They are almost equal to God. So trying to describe the greatness is not a doable task. So he's
Yeah.
equating both to make us understand that it is not a doable task.
Yeah.
Here I get reminded of a story that happened during Gautama Buddha's time, Teju. There was a young lady who had a son, and the son fell sick and he died. So she was grief stricken and she would go to all the villages asking for help, and she just asked everybody if anybody could bring the dead son back to life. Everybody said no, this is not a possible task, and someone suggested that she goes to Gautama Buddha for help. So she went to Buddha and she asked the same thing, if Buddha could bring the dead son back to life.
Yeah.
Buddha said it is possible, but if she could go get one white mustard seed from a house where there has been no incident of death,
Yeah.
that she has to go to a house and get a mustard seed where there is no incident of death.
Yeah.
So she gained confidence and faith in this idea of Buddha, and she went to the villagers' house one by one asking for a mustard seed.
Yeah.
In every house, they were ready to offer a mustard seed, but after offering the mustard seed, the lady checked with them if there was any death in their house. Everybody would say, like, yeah, my uncle passed away last week, and my grandmother passed away, my mother died, my sister died. So in every place there was an incident of death.
Yeah.
After checking with almost all the houses in the village, she realized that death is inevitable. Whoever has come to this world has to go one day. Nobody can stay permanently in this world, right? So, to make her understand that and to make her accept the things that are happening in life, Buddha asked her to do so.
Yeah.
So I just got reminded of this story when we read this couplet, right?
Yeah.
So Thiruvalluvar is also trying to equate both the things, like both the tasks. Like trying to describe or measure the greatness of ascetics is as impossible as counting the number of people who have born and died in this world. Yeah. Now let us move on to couplet 23. Here it goes.
இருமை வகைதெரிந்து ஈண்டு அறம் பூண்டார் பெருமை பிறங்கிற்று உலகு. The greatness of true ascetic is the greatest of all, who has lived virtuously as a householder and sage, discovered that this world allures and the other world draws, and renounced this world for the ultimate truth.
The greatness of a true ascetic, which is the greatest of all, One who has lived a virtuous life as a householder and a sage, and has now discovered that this world allures and the other one draws, renounced this world for the ultimate truth.
Yeah, Teju, in this couplet, Thiruvalluvar says, as he said in the first couplet of this chapter, that everybody should lead a domestic life based on the virtues for the roles we play in our domestic life and also in our social life.
Yeah.
After we perform all the duties, realizing our responsibilities, we need to go and focus on the inside of everybody. Like we need to focus on the inside, the divinity present on the inside. A true ascetic is a person who has lived both the lives, like as a householder and also as a sage,
Yeah.
based on the virtues. Yeah, and discovered that this world allures and the other world draws, meaning this world is full of attachments, desires, and the ego, the I ego, and the things are mine, all those desires and attachments. He discovers that this world is full of ignorance, attachments, and sufferings. And the other world, meaning the realization of the supreme truth,
Yeah.
that God is the only true thing in this world. So he analyzes both the worlds and then he finally decides to give up all the worldly pleasures, material wealth, comforts, everything for the supreme God.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he says a true ascetic is the person who analyzes both the worlds and then finally gives up everything for the realization of supreme truth.
Yeah.
He is a true ascetic, and the greatness of this ascetic is the greatest of all. So, in the first three couplets of this chapter, that is 21, 22, and 23, Thiruvalluvar is emphasizing the greatness of the ascetics again and again. And he says the greatness of the ascetics is the greatest of all in this world. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, with that note, we are signing off. Thank you so much for watching and listening. Bye bye.
Bye.